Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Now Loading Esports. We're joined today by myself, Big Rick, and my friend Sponty.
What's up, Rick?
Not much. Today we've got a scrim between Drexel's Team 2 and Olympus. Not 100% sure what school they're from. What's your experience with Drexel, especially their Team 2?
We have played Team 2 a few times in our experience at Kutztown for our Team 1 games. First time we got absolutely pummeled by them, but then when we scrimmed
Yep.
them second time around, it was basically reverse sweep. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings playing with them and against them. So we'll see how this is going. I'm expecting an interesting script.
Absolutely. I have, like you said, we've scrimmed against them before. We've played against them in LANs. I've also ringed for them in one of their scrims before. I want to say that their biggest strength is their individual skill. They've got a lot of mechanical skill on their side, and Zaya, the main tank, is relatively proficient at what he does. But I will say one of their largest weaknesses is their, in my opinion, lack of leadership. They sort of spread that around. So hopefully, since the last time I've played with them, they can rectify that and manage to scramble together to make something happen.
That makes sense. In organized Overwatch, a main leader is a necessity when you're trying to win games. I think the comms can get cluttered when everybody's trying to make callouts and lead. So we'll see how
Yeah,
this goes.
absolutely. Yeah, just waiting on one last player to join from Drexel's side, and we'll get started on what I believe it will be Lijiang Tower.
Lijiang, one of my favorite maps to start on.
Yeah,
I'm.
I think it's probably the best King of the Hill map, in my opinion, anyway.
What do we think,
And
composition-wise, we'll be seeing from either Drexel or Olympus as well?
I know Drexel likes to prefer that Reinhardt. They like to keep Zay on that Reinhardt, so I'm expecting more brawl than you would normally see from
Mm-hmm.
scrim lobbies. But they are rather good at it. I'm not sure about Olympus. I've never seen their play before, but I'm looking for a Reaper out of Barry more often than not. The Rhine from Zaya. Zumi and Unwritten, who I believe is not here, but Jeff Goldblum in this case. They like to swap around their roles a lot due to their differing hero pools, so main support and off support, they sort of fluctuate.
Okay. I'm more so expecting the usual picks, especially for Control Center, Junkrat, Symmetra, or maybe substitute in that Junkrat from May. I know in our experience we've been getting kind of stomped by the Junkrat, so we'll see if Olympus whips out Junkrat, and maybe in response we could see Pharah from Drexel. You never know.
Yeah, that would certainly be expected out of them.
Hmm.
Uh, on Nightmark, I do believe they still run the Reinhardt, uh, which is abnormal, to say the least. I see we have CB joining in, so CB will perhaps be taking the main support role, and then Jeff Goldblum will be playing off tank. I have to assume. I do know that Jeff Goldblum is a very proficient off tank, so we should absolutely be seeing some fair play out of the tank line, at least from Drexel.
All right, and here we go. We're loading into our first map, which is Lijiang, and it is Control Center first, as I was talking about a second ago.
Yep, so I certainly will be expecting a Rhine comp out of Drexel. I'd be very surprised to see anything otherwise.
Yeah, this is kind of the Rhine standard map, you know, TP
One of the
in,
few
amp
left.
speed. Yeah, one of the few left.
Uh, we'll almost certainly see the sim. Oh, I'm seeing CB on the DPS role here. That
Okay,
is
that is
that's exciting, actually.
it
I'm
is.
excited for that.
And I am noticing Olympus is, for now, before the game loads, not running sim. So let's see if Zaya gets all up in their grill and swings his hammer around with the TP and amp speed.
Yeah, Olympus also apparently opting for the Hog so far. I'm not sure if that's going to stay. I'd be surprised if it will, but that would
Uh,
definitely be atypical.
yes, but well, with Rush, hopefully Drexel could keep their cool and stay grouped together. That should be able to stop the Roadhog plenty. If
I was gonna
anyone
say
goes
that,
out
right
on
next to Diva.
excursions or goes off on their own, they're gonna get picked. But you're right, they switched to Diva. And they switched to
Got
Sim,
going
so
here.
let's see them
Yep.
meet in the middle.
We're going to see an absolute mirror match with the absolute standard of this map. Both teams opting to do the exact same strategy. Olympus preferring that right
Really
side.
on, wow. That Junkrat spam just, oh my.
Olympus immediately taking control. That Junkrat spam too much for Drexel to handle. They have to back out.
I'm not sure if that came down to the case of Diva not eating the first couple mags of Junkrat shot, but
Olympus down one here. They're going to need to back up fast because they have their Lucio on point capping here.
oh,
As I say that, Zaya going to die from that Junkrat spam. Not going
Yeah.
to be pushing through the choke at all. Perhaps standing in the choke a little too long there.
throwing a fire strike at 100 health is never gonna win you anything.
Yeah, I can
Gotta focus up and watch your health when throwing loose fire strikes like that.
absolutely. Drexel opting to take the left path here, going to be avoiding that junk spam from the initial hallway. Going to meet in the choke more to the center of the point.
Oh, the
Huge
tires
coming in from Boreas. Going to catch only CB. Oh, but a huge shatter coming out
wow.
from Marino is going to take this fight.
Yeah,
Say
the
it,
remaining
last
standing
resort.
people should just need to back out.
Absolutely, just
That's
to clean
a-
up here. We got a few ultimates online. We've got Barry's, or rather Baru's Dragon Strike. We've got a window from Jeff Goldblum, but we do have a sim wall, very powerful ability coming out of the side of Olympus, as well as the Baptiste window.
Yeah, Drexel is up on ultimates here. They have almost all 6 except for Diva. So let's see if they can make this point work, getting some percentage up.
Dragon coming in from Barry, going to go to point. Reinhardt taking quite a bit of damage,
That's a good
flipping out the
split.
lamp from Olympus. Good split of aggressive beat coming out. Zaya going to try and push with that, but not going to get much done. Zumi getting the pick on the Garfield out of mech. It's essentially an even fight right now. Another DPS trade happens. Garfield gets taken out.
It's really even fight.
Very
Comes
even
down to the
fight.
Reinhardt here. Oh,
Oh, massive shatter coming out of Zaya. Going to
It
force
gets
out the Inmore,
imported
up
real
in from
quick.
Marino. That Reinhardt very killable.
and no main
But
heals is
Zaya's
gonna.
going to go down.
Yeah. The full charge Symmetra with no main heals on the field. That's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely. Probably not going to get a recontest here. Olympus taking control center from Lijiang. Honestly, a bit of a surprise for me. Drexel's very proficient, in my opinion, on this rush comp, so perhaps they'll have more luck on the other Lijiang maps.
What do you think was the error there, Rick? I mean,
I'd
was
say
it
the biggest issue there
rotates?
was misused ultimates. We haven't seen them ult first, really, except for Barry's Dragon, which did force the round out of position, but no capitalization on that. Zumi ended up beating for the aggressive push there, but absolutely nothing really came out of it. A Junkrat Tire did come through from Olympus's side, getting an early pick. I will say Olympus, honestly, the fight just came down to very good execution out of Olympus.
Yeah, they've got much quicker ultimates and they got to use it quicker and got their percentage up higher each time.
Absolutely. So as we walk out here, Zombie is actually what we refer to it as, but the 6-man dive comp of Lucio Moira dive with a Sombra and a Reaper is rather standard on this map.
Which composition do you think is actually stronger here, Rick? The Reaper comp or the sticking with the Sim?
I would say Zombie every day. The 6-man dive is
Yeah,
pretty much
I'm gonna have to
takes part
agree.
of Symmetra every time.
Oh, they switched off the Symmetra actually last second, and Reaper's lacking behind. Wow, the Lucio just rolled out and knocked both
Wow.
supports off of the map.
Very nice rollout from Hermes. They're going to essentially wrap that fight up before it even begins. Olympus going to take the point here.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of time that they're going to get on it before another fight breaks out, though, which is fortunate for Drexel.
That double boop is going to put Hermes way ahead on ult charge over Zumi.
Absolutely.
So I'm expecting to see beat within the next fight or two.
Absolutely. So Drexel opting to go through the white side, maybe a little atypical out of this composition, but doable. But Zaya, unfortunately, getting taken out almost immediately from Jorge.
Zaya just popped. He walked in without popping his bubble down or without what it seemed to be communication. No
Certainly
heals are coming this way.
Their Reaper hacked and inside of their Mega. Not going to get picked off though. The team not coordinating well enough to pick off Jorge while he was in. Now they're going to have to try and scrape together what they can. Hopefully not have any more picks on their end. As I say that, Jorge taking down Barry, really doing some heavy lifting here for the side of Olympus.
Yeah.
Drexel really needs to group up, hard reset, stop staggering, and get a good fight in there.
You need to coordinate.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Rotating through white is a little strange, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, with the Reaper and Sombra, you know, hacking around the corner, flanking with hacks, Reaper popping shots in your face. It's hard to break through white room.
Huge EMP coming in on the point of Olympus.
With the
spin
Death
coming
Blossom
from Jorge,
combo,
Death Blossom EMP, massive combo, especially with this composition, and that's going to take it very quickly for the Olympus.
The only ultimate online for 3 fights now is EMP, and just now coming up, Coalescence and Reaper ult Death Blossom. Meanwhile, Olympus has actually cycled their ultimates by now.
They've done very well. All they're missing are the DPS ultimates. They can play this very well. I'm hoping to see a... There you go. There it is, the early Cole. A huge EMP coming in from Barry. Garfield picking off Winston mid-fight. It's a pretty huge advantage for them as long as they're able to play it slow. Barry going to pop that Reaper ult and catch a Moira. Now they really need to make sure they don't die here. The only way they lose is something like that happening.
Yeah, the fight is still turnable. Reaper has so much potential when he's out on his own.
Absolutely. Zumi getting hacked there means death for her. Not a whole lot that Drexel can really do to take this one back. Zaya just getting out of Primal. Olympus pushing him off the point. And it's looking like this is going to be another one for Olympus.
I still going to have to say that these lost battles are coming down to ultimate cycling.
Yeah, again, the ultimate ability usage is just world-class from Olympus at this point. Their rotates are slightly better. They were on the defense holding the point there for so long, and really just made it a really difficult fight for Drexel the entire time. It's almost as if they have the advantage on the resources every time. Going to be looking at this Reaper play here. As we can see, the EMP and the Blossom just coming online at the same time here. As we line it up. Very well coordinated out of here. The TP in. There is wonderful job. Great.
That is some grade A coordination right there. I agree. Pressing 2 Q buttons at the same time. It's gold standard.
Absolutely. That's all you need. Gold star for that 6-man dive. So moving on to Night Market here. Like I said, I have experience with Drexel scrimming, and they do opt for the Rhine comps a lot more than, in my opinion, they should. But here we're seeing maybe a little ball Zen Brig dive here. That could be a very interesting course of events. I'm surprised. I'm excited to see how they play this, considering Olympus is actually opting for the Rhine comp with the Symmetra in this situation.
Let's see. Zumi is on the Zenyatta, and then Zumi is going to be able to rain free Discords and Orbs from afar unless this rush comp actually amps in on her. So hopefully Zaya can follow up with good slams, and then CB can get some nice kills following up on the slams and Discords here.
Absolutely. As the Brawl comp should, they've taken point. They're probably going to end up capturing it first, and then they need to rush onto one of the squishier enemies here. Drexel opting to take a fight early, but a huge TP coming out of Olympus' side is going to take that fight early. Really well executed.
That was incredible. They recognized that they weren't on rush, and they put a TP down. Instead of amp speeding to Zumi, they TP'd to Zumi and just destroyed her.
Really smart. This is a team that has practiced this map a lot against a lot of different comps. Doesn't seem to be any hero switches coming out of Drexel. I think I agree with that. I think their comp is technically better. They just need to make sure that they're able to rotate from that Sim TP or that speed boost whenever it comes.
There's no way it'll happen to them twice now that it's happened. And with the slam, like I said before,
getting walked on by their Reinhardt, probably not going to be able to live this counter, and he doesn't. But he does manage to take out the Reinhardt early. Barry getting a pick on the Echo, and it looks like a wrap. Drexel going to take this point away from Olympus. Already doing better than they've done the last point.
Yep.
Well done.
As I
Well
said
executed.
before, with the slams, coordinating Wrecking Ball slams is very powerful and it could turn any fight. CB blinked in and actually, I think, got a kill off of a Wrecking Ball slam. The tricky part with this comp, though, is what happens when you cap. It's kind of hard for a ball to engage inside on them like that, and they have a Cassidy.
Absolutely.
So you can just stun and...
Exactly what you would expect. They TP a point, but Drexel is ready for it. Not ready to give up that point yet. I'm hoping that they're able to manage to make something work here, but as I say that, Garfield feeding the mech. CB going to die on Tracer, and this fight seems to need to be a stall at this point.
Thea has Minefield here.
Oh, wow.
I'm curious if he's going to pop it. Wow, they commit with their Transcendence. They think this is winnable.
Absolutely.
We're going to need to see a Minefield here if it wants to be
turned. There's a third
turned.
ultimate here in what I believe is the lost fight. We're going to be investing both support ults and a visor.
And the mines are coming in.
Mines coming out to try and salvage this fight. I'm a believer at this point.
I'm a believer. Yes, it's good. The mines are getting damage in, the supports are healing, and the Tracer's following up.
What an incredible fight turn. That's incredible.
That was a good example of a leadership call out right there. They
Absolutely.
recognized the fight was turnable, and they committed, and it worked out in their favor.
Job here. The downside of that is now Drexel doesn't have a whole lot of ultimates to work with here. While 3 out of the 6 of Olympus have that going for him. A rather strange bomb coming out from Garfield, but that's okay. I'm assuming he thought the TP was going to be taken by them, and then it would have been really cool. Huge stick from CB going to force out the Immortality Field. Assuming gonna get picked from that Deadeye, but CB getting the trade. Jekyll is gonna go down. They have no supports to finish this fight out. No Diva. This is a hard ass
again is gonna rain hellfire on the yellow team.
For sure. Barry getting an off-time pick on Symmetra might make this fight a little bit easier for Drexel coming out here.
Yeah, Drexel's team composition actually gets back to the point quicker, so I'm curious if they're going to engage on it really quickly and for the sim gets back. And they are. Here comes the mines.
Yep, huge mine engage. Diva bomb to clear those mines to very decent trades, but Barry going to be hitting that visor. Hopefully going to get a little bit of value out of it from the back position. And he does. The Baptiste getting picked off immediately. Zaya slamming the point.
Support is down.
Huge response beat coming out of the Lucio. This is certainly still turnable, but the Rhine goes down too fast. And the trance coming out from Drexel.
Yeah, that's going to guarantee. Yep.
As they clean this up, the Sim TP coming back up. They're going to need to break that. They're going to need a short recontest here. And there it goes. I would be surprised.
They should get this point here.
And there it is.
That was well executed.
Yes, well, very well done from Drexel, actually. I'm surprised. They did incredibly well.
The ultimate cycling was much better on that final point than the first two.
Absolutely. Drexel just did a fantastic job on that recontest there. Recognizing the situation was absolutely winnable. Dedicating ultimates to take it. We're going to be looking at a Symmetra play here coming in. Perhaps a lot of beamage ready here. That full charge beam is just absolutely lethal. I mean, look how fast they can melt. This is a fight turner if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah. I know something we love to call out in our scrims is to kill the sim first because of how the longer she's up, like Hanzo Widow, the more value she gets.
Absolutely. I'm going to see that, and we seem to have Nasty subbed in now instead of CB on the DPS. That is their actual player, CB being the stand-in for Nasty, while Nasty probably being busy. I don't have a whole lot of experience with Nasty because I believe I was ringing for Nasty when I played with them. So I'm not sure. I know they had me on a bit of Pharah, so maybe we're going to be seeing that rather than the Tracer or the Soldier that we saw at Barry, along with the Tracer from CB. But we should be seeing a little bit more of what Drexel Team 2 actually plays here.
Looks like our second map choice is going to be Volskaya. 2CP, the classic.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Not my favorite map in the world. In fact, it might be my least favorite. But it is, in my opinion, a very good indicator of skill as far as 2CP maps go. I find that a lot of the times you find on Hanamura, the team that simply knows how to push through a choke, or the team that knows how to execute well on defense on point two, tend to be the ones who win it. But on Volskaya, you have to be able to execute well on both ends of the spectrum. It's hard to defend point two as well as attack it. So if we end up getting to those points, I could absolutely see a wonderful interpretation of how well these teams are going to do for the rest of the scrim.
I am going to have to
Might be
agree.
a better word.
This is probably one of the harder 2CP maps. You know, everyone goes with the standard Symmetra teleport on Hanamura, or they just dive in. This map, any composition could really work. There's no set in stone comp that is best for it, so we'll see how this goes, because I want to know how this Wrecking Ball Sigma is going to work on defense.
Yeah, we're looking at a little bit of a
Tracer.
funky comp here. Yeah, absolutely. Very funky from Drexel, but I kind of like it. I like the Soldier on the defense here. I like the Torbjorn to control flankers. But we are seeing Olympus here on the 6-man going to be diving in. I will say I have to give the advantage to Olympus in terms of composition, but it's all about how you play it. So we're going to end up seeing that shortly.
Hopefully we can see some good plays from Zaya here. Wrecking Ball is very good at controlling enemy teams. So hopefully Zumi doesn't get caught out, or Jeff. Hopefully neither of them get caught out without any sort of peel help from the 6-man dive.
That is the win condition for Olympus here, to get somebody out of position, delete them instantly. See them starting, we see both supports playing back rather far along with their Sigma. See the Sombra scouting immediately here. Not going to get too much information yet, in a little bit while. Sombra perhaps getting a position up at the top there. That might be the first place that the dive ends up moving.
Beacon in place.
I think Zaya is telling his team what the comp's running. He's going to rotate around here. As
I like
Olympus
this rotate
goes,
of Olympus. Yeah. I really like that rotate. They're going to force the supports and the Sigma off, and they're just going to rush on them.
Oh, Zaya got hacked from the Sombra down below. Oh, wow.
Jeff Goldman going to manage to get Hermes, but getting traded himself. This fight going to be looking a little sad here, because that exactly what their win condition was. They removed them off the high ground, didn't rotate away fast enough, and now it's a 3v5. 3v6 when their Lucio returns. They're going to get picked off here, and it's looking like a little bit of a loss here on first point Volskaya. But hey, what else do you expect?
Jeff did get the environmental kill onto Hermes, but the escapability Break has is the whip and the shield bash, and it looks like Jeff used that on the Lucio, but the Winston, the Diva, the Sombra, they were still on their tail. I mean,
yeah, you gotta rotate a little bit faster away from those compositions. You can't allow them to catch you guys split, and that's exactly what happened. That's the win condition for Olympus here.
Left their diveable targets altogether. Up top, Sigma's very diveable, as well as Zenyatta, and Brigida's pretty.
Online here. Sorry to interrupt you.
You're all good. Look at the ultimates here, Rick. Olympus has closer ults than... Oh, wow.
Little Cheeto coming out.
I'm interested in seeing a execution on dive here. They are going to commit.
Absolutely, the Cole coming out. They don't have the Tracer, but it's still a very winnable fight. Nasty's Molten Core not going to get anything at all. Going to just sit on point. Zaya spinning to win, just trying to stall this point out for as long as he can. That Cole coming in, that aggression, absolutely what you need to be seeing out of this dive.
This is certainly very turnable. Their main support is down, as well, both supports are down. Barry just followed up on the Lucio with his concentration beam.
Olympus here just trying to get this tick in my mind. I wouldn't even expect anything better than that. But as I say that, they're committing Primal Rage, trying to force people off the point. An EMP coming out of their Sombra. A lot of ultimates being dedicated here, but Zumi with the Transcendence going to save their team. 2 ticks for Olympus, but no more.
Both support ults on the side of Drexel was used here, but it does leave both Tankles and Echo ult. All very good ultimates for turning fights and winning fights.
Absolutely. Yeah, Sigma and Wrecking Ball's ultimates really end up shifting the tide of a fight. Just the press of a button. I mean, Flux does so much absurd damage. I mean, I'm looking for that early, though. If we don't see that early, they could end up tossing this fight away.
Zaya here, he's up top with them.
Not really noticing it. I'm looking for the Flux absolutely right now. I'm looking for a Flux. I'm going to see it, but Zaya's mine's going to come out. Not very powerful, but the B coming out from Hermes to try and aggress.
Oh, that is a great Flux.
It's a great Flux. It's a wonderful Molten Core. Olympus not going to get a whole lot done here. Barry trying to get the squish on the Baby Diva. I saw that, Barry. The guy didn't.
I'm surprised Olympus committed their beat there, considering Drexel used 4 ultimates on that fight.
I am also surprised. I'm a little surprised that Drexel didn't ult a little bit faster there. I think that would be advantageous. So perhaps on that top left platform, the Sigma had ulted or the mines coming out. I think that would have clinched it just as well. But the beat coming out aggressively from them and then Sig responding to it with an ultimate really helped push that fight in favor of Drexel.
We're looking at an EMP here from Boreas. No Transcendence, although Zumi is very close. It might be possible that they can get it in time, unless this team engages on their dive.
Looking for an EMP on their supports here. Going
and it
to
does
get
catch
it. Zumi not going to get the trance. There goes Zumi. Very winnable fight here for both sides. Looking in favor of Olympus here. They need to wipe this point quick if they're looking to take it. Very turnable fight here. They need to get rid of that ball now if they're going to take this fight. Barry going to be the last line of contest for Drexel University, and he's not going for it. Olympus taking that one in 2 minutes.
Considering how first point went for Drexel, that is a respectable time to recap on. 2 minutes
Absolutely.
for second point, not bad at all.
Well, we are talking about 2CP here. I mean,
true. This can go on to be a 6-6 game. You never know.
Well, thankfully we're in Scrim, so we don't have to worry about that. At least I hope. I hope they don't drag it out. Perhaps a little double bubble action. We've got a huge EMP play coming in from the Sombra here on the replay. Coming. Here we see. This is Olympus's star DPS player. Let's see what he makes of this Drexel squad. Right through main, a weird place to opt to run to. However, the EMP coming online here, not a whole lot you can do to mess it up other than doing that next to a CC. So we have him again running through the main. Sigma realizing that Sombra's there, but not a whole lot going to come out from that. We're running with a little bit of a pause here, but that's okay. We're looking at Drexel double bubble here. I hope they say that, because I actually really do like watching double bubble comps. It's a lot more popular in the eastern regions, Korea. They run a lot of the double bubble. So.
Defend objective A.
I'm curious to see how they're going to execute this, because Olympus is running a rush, so the Drexel Thunder are going to have to look out for a vulnerable target for Zaya to dive.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Zumi immediately getting picked. That is, in my mind, just a very unfortunate amount of damage. Not a whole lot you can do about that. Although, Zumi realizing now that the enemy team's not really running any dive characters, could swap that brig. Just going to be a quick cleanup here from Olympus. Oh. However, Kronos does feed mech. That is very unfortunate for their side. They're going to need to build that back or jump right off just like that.
Look at the ultimates though. Zaya already has Primal after 50 seconds of fighting, and Jeff also has Nano Boost here. I'm assuming we're going to see the Nano Boost onto the Winston. Hopefully get some...
They're going to be building that Nano Boost here. Hopefully taking a little bit of poke damage, initiating... Oh, that's a lot of poke damage, Zaya. Alright, we can see the Nano initiate here. They need to go quickly. Hainu not going to get anything except that Zarya getting picked off immediately. Definitely a winnable fight here. We haven't nanoed yet. Zaya seems...
Zaya didn't get nanoed, yeah.
There's the nano. The immediate shatter response from there, Reinhardt, going to essentially neuter that monkey. Not a whole lot going to be able to come out of that. Actually trying to get in to confirm that Rhine kill, but it's just not going to happen. Too much shield health left. Zaya managing to take down their Rhine, however. That could be big if they go for a soft reset here.
Zaya followed up on Barry's Pulse Bomb, which couldn't quite kill the Reinhardt, but it got him low enough to be killed by Winston, but wow.
Unfortunate that Drexel doesn't back up fast enough. It doesn't look like that Rhine kill is going to mean too much here. Barry opting for the Hanzo now. I'm not sure. I'm a believer, but I've seen Stranger Things. We'll see how that interacts with the Volskaya Brawl.
An interesting pick considering Olympus is running Rush, and they're very good at executing amp speed engages, so I'm assuming they're going to amp speed onto... Wow!
Huge eat coming out of Garfield. Ryan's still going to be picking off that Brig on the side of Drexel, but perhaps we can get a tick here before...
Yeah, wow, everything's happening in the front line. Zaya's backcapping, getting a tick.
There's the free tick. And they force out a window as well. That's not a bad trade. I would, if I was Drexel, I would just get out now and hope for the recontest to be a little bit easier.
Cash out with the tick you got, while the rest of your team dies in the back.
Very interesting play here. We do have a lot of ultimates online here. We've got a Copy, we've got a Nano, we've got Rally. If Drexel can't make this one work, I would be very surprised.
Let's see if we can get the Nano onto Zaya before he primos this time, because I'm expecting Marino to shatter him again.
UG coming in on the side of Olympus again, managing to eat that Hanzo ult. Beat coming out, the Rally, a lot of ultimates interacting here, looking to favor Olympus' side, however. Not a whole lot that Drexel can really do here other than put their tails between their legs and get ready for the next fight, because they need to contest.
Popping ultimates here. Zaya gets a kill with this primal, but maybe he could have saved it for a recontest earlier, because they only have 15 seconds left.
That is for sure something they could have done. Nano not coming out, so that is something they've got in their back pocket. We do have a D.Va bomb and a Mei ult on the other side of things, and there it is. There's the Mei ult. Going to be able to catch that monkey and the D.Va.
Yeah, Mei ulting at her feet to stop the Nano Monkey engage is very smart. He had no jump, he had no primal to escape, and that's just a dead monkey there.
Absolutely. I gotta say, really well executed on the side of Olympus here. A lot of ultimate cycling and usage that Olympus just seems to have down to a T. They're playing incredibly well in that regard.
Yeah, and it's even working when they're playing Rush into a double bubble. They're making it work on maps that have high ground control.
I know, it's incredible. We've got that Sombra ult from earlier that we were talking about. We, on the production side, apologize for that hiccup. But we're going to be seeing it coming online shortly. Here we go. Here comes that EMP coming out. Going to catch a lot of people here. Really well done. The important thing is to make sure that Zen gets picked, and that's exactly what they do. Down to 50 HP. And that really helps seal the deal here for Olympus. This is a little harder of a fight than they imagined, however, with the Drexel recontest, but they do, of course, end up making it work. With those 2 minutes left.
It's so unfortunate. Zumi was centimeters off of getting her Transcendence, so she could have hit around the corner and transcended that, but...
Yeah, absolutely. It is a little harder on Zen to hide. I know a lot of Sombras will go out of their way, in fact, to EMP where they can see the either Lucio or Zenyatta, depending on which defensive ult you've opted for on the defense there. But yeah, probably could have played in a slightly safer spot than on that bridge to avoid that EMP. I will say, however, rather unfortunate that Zumi got caught in that EMP in the first place. With that high ground. The hitbox on that EMP is kind of odd. It is a line of sight ability, I believe, so getting hit from it from low ground is just it sort of sucks. It just sucks.
We are now on our third map, however, a world favorite, King's Row, the classic Rush comp map.
This is going to come down to the fact that their Mei on the side of Olympus has to do some fantastic walling I know that they are rather proficient on the maze we've seen in the last map. So I'm surprised to see, or rather I'm excited to see how Drexel will respond with their own Junkrat. Atypical pick here on King's Row.
I am curious to see how the Junkrat is going to play out. Junkrat can break the Mei wall rather quick and pump out high amounts of damage when Olympus amps in, so Kronos has to do a really good job of keeping their Reinhardt alive so they can bring out the damage.
As I say that, Barry actually opting to go for the Mei. Drexel missing a hit scan from their repertoire here, but I'm down. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
I see Barry in the corner looking for an early wall off. Let's see if Olympus can collect themselves to get around the choke at the same time.
These early walls can be risky for the team. As I say that, Barry going to get 2 walled off immediately, the Mei and the D.Va. Not the best targets to wall off, to be perfectly honest. Playing up that choke there really helps put your team out of position, but they do manage to pull out the Immor and don't lose any here. As I say that, there goes Zaya.
Zaya gets overzealous. Yes, Zaya got a little overzealous there, swinging his hammer, not keeping his mind together about his health. He was swinging at about 100 health, and then without the immortality, because it was already used, he popped.
Drexel but they seeming to not opt to retake here. Nasty getting picked off a little bit late there. Not a whole lot they can do. They do need to back up here if they are going to try and hold it closer.
Anybody else die in that fight besides Zaya? I think
Not
it was
that
all
I'm aware of. It might have only been Zaya.
I think they could have recontested there. Zaya got back really quick because he could pin from the spawn into the choke.
It was certainly winnable, but I respect the decision to just hold this choke here.
Drexel did back out of the fight very well after their main tank drops. We are going to see some ultimates here though, some big ultimates. We have Riptire, which could completely wipe the enemy team, as well as Earth Shatter from Marino.
At the very least, not a great wall coming out from the side of Olympus. Here comes that Junk Tire along with the Shatter. Going to manage to pick off the Immortality and Hermes here. Nasty taking the pick on the Rhine. It's looking more and more like a chalk fight for Olympus here. Maywall coming out from Olympus, try to get them out. Likely going to work here. Oh, but they do manage to get that on the 3 there. Wonderful job. Good job, Drexel. And now they have the positioning to play this choke.
The ult economy here is a little leaning towards Olympus, but it's still, I think, Drexel can salvage with what they have and win the fight.
Absolutely. A lot of utility that Drexel has on their side of the field here. High Noon going to be coming out from Olympus's McCree here. The freeze coming out on Zaya. Crops, Immor gone. Zaya likely dead here. High Noon getting popped from Barry here. Going to trade Rhines.
Wow, yeah.
Both teams
Mei takes down.
Barry getting popsicled from that Mei. A little unfortunate. A bomb coming out. Oh, and that's going to seal it. Massive bomb on the side of Olympus. Well done, Kronos.
No shield, no immortality field, and no cover. You can't hide from that bomb when all your abilities have been used.
It's not going to look like Drexel's going to regroup in time to contest this point. They're just going to have to hope for a staggeringly good 3rd point defense here on King's Row.
Marino's being very conservative with his Shatter. I noticed even before he died that fight, he didn't Shatter, and now they're up ultimates here. It's going to push Drexel back.
Sometimes just the knowledge that the other Ryan has the Shatter is enough to force them on team play. Zaya going to get charged there. Very unfortunate, but they do get the pick on Hermes. They don't have the beat. Drexel could potentially turn this with an aggressive beat when Zaya returns.
Yeah, Zaya got caught out by the...
Shatter not going to catch anything from Marino. High Noon coming out from Jorge. Going to catch Zumi. Now Drexel's down. Big Tire coming out from the side of Nasty. Might make this a winnable fight. They just need to stay alive and play the spawn doors.
Now Kronos is D-Mech. This is definitely a winnable fight. They're closer to the spawn.
Fortunately, Jeff Goldblum getting picked off there, but it's not going to look like they are going to have any firepower left. Olympus just going to need to back out here. Ultimate's online. We've got a window and a beat coming in from the side of Drexel, along with a high noon. We've got only a beat coming in from Olympus, so I'm going to expect a little bit of aggressive play here from Drexel. That high noon can do wonders as long as they pull that May wall out first.
Hopefully we see an amp speed high noon.
There's the high noon, but they didn't pull the wall
No
out, so
amp.
it's not going to get a whole lot here.
And
As I
it
say
works
that,
out.
it works out for the side of Drexel. They managed to get picks here and quickly clean up that fight. Well done, Drexel.
Well done, Barry, for holding the high noon to get around the wall instead of deciding to cancel it. It ended up getting a kill, and Nasty got a kill as well, and it just led to Olympus crumbling that fight.
Absolutely. A lot of patience shown from Barry. The Ultimate's online. Now we have the Shatter from Zaya, and still the beat from both Lucios. The window online for Hestia, going to be able to take a lot of space with that, as well as the high noon coming out. The Drexels really should be scared right now. Here comes the first space taker bolt. There it is. And it's a huge high noon. Very unfortunate. Gotta manage to get around cover before that high noon pops. If you stand behind your Rhine shield, that's exactly what's going to happen. But Marino, as I said, charging in, gonna get picked there. Making a winnable fight. Huge beat coming in from both Lucios here.
Now the Drexel squad is back, and Zaya hits a nice shatter on the point, and it gets 2 people low. And he is going to get the kills with them, or Barry's going to follow up with them.
Coming out from the side of Drexel, making this another one fight on the third point. That incredible third point hold quickly becoming a reality for Drexel.
I have to say, that was a good decision to beat from Zumi with only 2 or 3 people alive. It kept the stragglers alive in time for the Drexel squad to recontest.
Absolutely can't save those ults for Overwatch 2. Gotta use them at some point. Online now, we have another high noon out of Barry that's going to be being popped immediately, along with the May and Diva Bomb coming out. A huge Diva Bomb coming out of Garfield, going to help keep his team alive, picking off the May, but a huge shatter coming out from the side of Marino. Really well done. Olympus likely going to take this card now. Barry going to get a little bit of a touch there before getting forced off. Really, really well executed from Marino.
Was a massive shatter. Able to clean up the fight and secure the point with 1.5 minutes left.
Ready for battle.
Here we've got our lovely high noon coming in from the side of Olympus here. Just pushing in, speeding through, and again, can't stand behind that round shield for too long. You've got to get in cover, otherwise stuff like that will just happen.
Yeah, the thing about Cassidy's high noon is that it locks onto targets behind shields. If Reinhardt's the first target to go, his shield's going to get popped, and the rest of the bullets are going to tap the heads of his teammates behind him. In that case, you got to amp speed behind some cover, or even throw the Immort.
Just tell me one thing. Where'd you learn?
Something's got to happen, that's for sure, because standing behind that Reinhardt shield's going to do nothing except for get your team killed. Looking
Barry,
at relatively similar comps here. Barry opting for the Widowmaker.
I hope we
Probably
can see a
not
pick.
say.
I want to see a pick here for Barry. Make
I'd love to
something's
see a
interesting.
Lovely headshot, absolutely. Maybe we could see a little bit of the classic strat here, where you rotate around the entirety of the point, and then your Widow comes out from spawn and ends up picking off everybody. That could be.
The Gladiator strat.
Yep. I think that could be pretty cool. We're going to be seeing a lot of the same here out of Olympus here. They play similar comp. We're going to be seeing a Junkrat tire coming out of Nasty. A lot of those ended up putting in a lot of work, actually. I'm surprised. I really like the Junkrat pick out of Nasty. He seems rather proficient at it. Just getting that spam through the window is very powerful.
I have to say, Junkrat's a hit or miss character. It did seem to work out really well, though. Wow, he double mined in and flank tire.
I like it. Getting started here on King's Row. Very opting to keep that Widow, trying to get a pick here. Let's see if it works out. Very opting to keep it. Hopping out of spawn with the Widowmaker. I could totally see this working out if Barry hits the shots. Maywall's rather inconsequential for both teams. Just going to come down to who gets the pick, and Jeff Glovebloom, there it goes. Getting picked off by Jorge.
Hey, Jeff
Not sure
Goldblum
if
was
any
caught out a
swapping
little
papers
bit.
yet. Just a tad. Rather unfortunate. Gonna look like Barry's going to opt for that swap here. There it is.
I was gonna say, I think by
See,
now
round
you should
three.
just swap. I mean, they recognized he had Widow and they were hiding behind the statue here. It's not gonna get much value.
Yeah,
So let's
Olympus
see.
playing very disciplined to not die to that Widowmaker. Zay gonna get walled off immediately, but a huge wall coming out from the side
That was
of
a
Drexel
very
as
good
well.
friendly wall.
Well done. Keeps the team alive, and
Zaya's
gets
very low,
Jorge
though.
picked off. Window coming out from the side of Jeff Goldblum, but Jeff Goldblum going to die immediately for it, trying to use that window.
Again, a little
Unfortunate streak.
overzealous from Zaya. I mean, they popped the window, so they had the double damage safety, but he still went in swinging with less than 100 health. And that resulted in his main support and the rest of his team getting cleaned up.
Yeah, there is a time and place for aggression, but when you've got less HP than Tracer, that may not be it. Same component coming out here. A lot of ultimates online from Olympus' side. There's the remake coming out from the Diva, and here's the High Noon aggressively coming out. They're speeding around that statue with the wall coming out. They're going to hold it, though. Drexel needs to be careful with how they're rotating, and there goes the High Noon. Oh, huge flank shatter from the side of Marina.
Shatter. Wow.
Get a lot of value here. Maybe Nasty manages to get the tick here. Nice pick on this side. Giving Jorge a little walk back from spawn. They might have been able to stagger that Baby Diva a little longer than they did. Could have made it a harder fight, but...
I like the decision from Drexel to not pop any ultimates there. It forced Olympus to pop some pretty big ults. May Freeze, High Noon, and Shatter.
Absolutely.
And
now they've got 4
now
online.
Drexel has almost every ult.
Not a great May walk to come out. Going to take the point for free, essentially, with that. But a Diva Bomb catches
Wow.
4!
Wow.
Really? These Diva Bombs from Kronos are absolutely massive. Little 5k on the side of Olympus.
There is a point in time where you gotta realize your Reinhardt can't block everything. Zaya got pushed by the bomb, actually, and he had to rotate towards the right. Well, everyone else on the left, I don't think could make it into the hotel in time.
Very, very unfortunate positioning and timing from that Diva Bomb, but hey, it was really well done.
Hopefully you can see that from Diva POV later.
Mirroring windows. Exact same scenarios, and more coming out from Drexel. A huge beat going to be coming out as well. Freeze going down the side of the Barry, but a huge High Noon from Jorge is going to have to go cleaning some. Still a very winnable fight for Drexel. Diva Bomb coming out from Garfield, forcing clear on the point. Baptiste next to that hotel is going to need to back away if he wants to get out with his life.
And no supports alive, but we got 2 tanks on the side of Drexel, anchoring down the point right now.
Barry managing to get picked off by that Baby Diva, unfortunately. Making this recontest a little more doable if they opted to go for it. And
I
it
think
looks like
they're
they
going.
will.
Wow.
And a huge slam from
Huge
Marino.
slam.
Going to open
Wow.
the door for Olympus to take this team fight. And a spacing freeze from Olympus's May going to really seal the deal on that recontest.
Now, does
Goodbye,
Drexel have a
Garfield fight.
contest here in 10 seconds?
I could see a touch coming out from the Lucio. Absolutely doable. Looks like they're going to opt to try and get the Lucio on there, and there she goes, zooming on point. A huge shatter from Zaya gets 2, but they quickly trade those picks. And
Able to
nobody else
touch.
is able to touch point. Olympus holding them in first.
That was a very good decision on Olympus's behalf to recontest the point. They didn't have everybody there, but they had ultimates online, and they were able to wipe the 3 stragglers from Drexel who were capping.
It was really, again, this team is very disciplined, especially on the rush. They've proven that thus far. They've got a lot of experience, both in the Brawl Mirror and in facing other comps. CV calling back to the point where, where he managed to take a point essentially by himself playing Tracer. Stroking the ego just a little bit. Yeah. I would expect Drexel to opt into a more lack of rush heavy map, perhaps. And as I say that, Gibraltar coming out.
The least rush reliant map in the entire game, I have to say. You run
Yeah,
rush on this, you're gonna most likely have a hard time.
Hopefully going to see a little bit more variance here. If they run rush, I'll donate my kidneys to science. Zaya and Garfield going to opt on that dive once again. Maybe a little bit of the Riggs in for Drexel's side. I might have to give up my kidneys. Okay, we're fine. Marino picked Ryan, but then immediately swapped the monkey. I'm safe. We're seeing the Ana Brig here with the Ash Sombra. Relatively standard for here on Gibraltar. We're going to be seeing on the attack from Olympus here a Sombra and a Tracer. Again,
I like
relatively
the sniper option here on the side of
agree.
Drexel. It's gonna give Tracer a really hard time, as well as Sombra too.
Especially on this first point here, you've got a lot of long sight lines. It really helps when you have a hit scan. But playing it on the defense requires a little bit more a lot more thought about how you position yourself. We're going to take a look at a huge Diva Bomb from King's Row last game. We believe it was from Kronos on the side of Olympus.
I actually believe Kronos got 2 quadruple kills that match with Diva Bomb.
Correct, that is true. And he does manage on this massive Diva Bomb, really well positioned, and he does manage to get the Reinhardt before Zaya manages to get away. So really massive playmaking there.
5.
Right, both teams are ready. They're going to be opting Olympus with the Symmetra, probably going to TP people out. Looking a little zombie-ish out of
Stop the payload.
Olympus here. There
They
goes
did
the Tracer.
TP across onto the high ground. Let's see how they're gonna dive this against an Ashe with a
Absolutely.
Brigida on the defense.
They just need to get on that Ashe as fast as possible, in my opinion. They need to clear this high ground and then make sure that their supports and base camp of Ashe and those supports are as uncomfy as possible. Nasty
Wow,
getting the
Nasty
immediate pick
winning the
on Boris.
1v1.
Exactly as I said, they're pushing those people off high ground. Jeff Goldman getting picked off early, unfortunate. Seeing a lot of trading here. But Olympus going to be getting that space. Somebody needs to be on cart, though. As I say that, Boreas goes back to push that payload while his team manages to stay front.
The fight's still winnable, just gotta wait for them to come, the people who died to come back.
Absolutely well executed on the side of Olympus there, recognizing the win condition of their 6-man dive. And again, we're going to see another pick. Zaya getting caught out a little far forward. Pulse Bomb going to come out and catch Zumi, and this first point is looking all but captured for Olympus.
Wow, Jorge is just outstanding and fun to watch. He is doing really well in this entire scrim. That's very fast pulse bomb, and we talked just a second ago how we thought Tracer was going to have a difficult time against this Ashe comp with Brigida, but he proves that it's just not the case.
At all. Yeah, absolutely. All right, the 6-man, in my mind, probably going to struggle a little harder on the second point. Control of the end. As we say that,
wow.
There goes Jorge immediately. Wonderful headshot from Barry. They need to take that airplane immediately if they're going to have any shot of taking this point. Hades almost getting caught out of position in very dangerous territory. Hermes, sorry. Nasty opting to get a little bit of ult charge there before TPing out, but Boreas getting picked off. Aggressive Ana DPSing, working well for Jeff Goldblum.
Olympus is going to have to regroup here and try to coordinate a dive. This is... You're not going to be able to push this cart without getting a dive going.
Absolutely, yeah. You need to make sure you win that team fight first and then cap the objective. It's a very common mistake that you'll see in lower elo lobbies. The airplane, very pivotal as you see Drexel holding it. With that massive stack of players, you could realistically just keep the Ashe and the supports up there. And let your tanks sort of do the work for you. As I said, a huge EMP coming out from the side of Nasty and Nano onto Garfield. Bob getting one.
Wow.
But the skill orb managing to get 2. Estia doing the damage on that base station there. Nasty getting the pick on the Tracer. A lot of trading happening here, but trades don't win the day when you're on the defense.
Yeah, the EMP from Nasty there caught Lucio out. And Bob picked Lucio, but then that skill orb, as you mentioned before, just flew right in and killed the people who were low.
A couple of Diva trades here and there, but Olympus still managing to clean up these stragglers. Hopefully Drexel manages to get out and regroup before they get picked off, because otherwise it could just be a free push to second point. I say that. There goes Zumi.
I'd like
Still
to see a
recontestable point
recontest
for
here.
sure. Nobody else can die. They need to make sure of that.
Much better.
And with that last push, it looks like Drexel used almost all of their ultimates while Olympus did not.
Absolutely, an EMP going off to the side of Olympus, but not going to do a whole lot. They need to get on point. Garfield going to be doing that. Not for long. Zaya going to anchor that point. Pulse bomb on the side of them going out, but not going to get a whole lot. Zaya needs to stay safe from that Diva Bomb, and he does. This is a very winnable fight for both sides, but that rally sure going to make things difficult for the side of Olympus here. Zumi picking off that Lucio, and it's looking very difficult for Olympus now.
That was a great rally there. Help secure the recontest, and they actually will hold it.
Absolutely, very well done, Zumi, on that rally usage. Quintessential. That's how I'll put that one. Regaining that airplane control. Somebody doesn't need to anchor point here. Make sure nobody does manage to back cap, and looking like that'll be good old Garfield here. Maintaining that airplane control. Very powerful position on the second point, as we've discussed before. Let's see how their 6-man of Olympus manages to pick this apart. They don't really have the ultimates to do that, but Moira Cole is relatively powerful. That bomb coming out, unfortunately dropping a little bit, but it does have sightlines of the cart, so a little lucky on that one. Well done. Huge EMP coming out from Nasty. Doesn't seem like it caught too much, but it did manage to get the Baby Diva and the Lucio.
Early in the fight, Jeff Goldblum got hacked and was forced to jump off of the spaceship, and I'm very surprised that that didn't cost them the point of losing their main heals.
Yeah, dedicating a few ults to that certainly helped to alleviate the blow of losing your main support. Or rather, your main healer.
And now we're gonna see the EMP from the side of Olympus. Boreas has looking for a spot to get into.
Very odd rotation here from Olympus. I don't know if I've ever seen teams do that before.
I definitely have
on
not.
That Sama, force her out and try and take the spaceship from an angle where they get a lot less. Huge EMP coming out.
Massive EMP catches 4.
Coalescence also coming out. I would be surprised if this doesn't end up in at least one pick. There it is. Goodbye, Barry. Jorge managed to get the opening pick here. As I say that, Garfield throwing out the bomb, and it is going to catch Jorge. Still a winnable fight for Drexel here. Certainly recontestable. Assuming going to get primal in the corner here. Zaya going to try and make the best of a bad situation. Let's see what happens. Garfield's going to get DMEC in the right-hand corner of the stairwell there. Zaya opting to die on the cart, smart thing to do. As I say that, he jumps away, a little scared. But somebody's got to recontest the cart. It's going to be Baby Diva.
It's looking like a win on Olympus' side here. They did commit an ultimate though.
Yeah, maybe an unnecessary Diva Bomb, but it secured the fight, I suppose. So we're going to see how this 6-man dive works out for the side of Olympus on this third point.
This DPS duo on the side of Olympus is doing very good at following up on hacks and EMPs. Jorge is wreaking havoc in the backline on the hack targets each time.
Absolutely, he's doing very well. I will say this 6-man might be a little better for Olympus on this third point. Kind of difficult for them to get in here, but as I say that, Jeff Goldblum managed to get a pick on that Lucio, and Barry getting the Sombra. Olympus going to need to back off now if they don't want to stagger any further.
This is why I love the Ashe, because the longer, like I said before about Junkrat, or Symmetra, sorry, the longer that this DPS is up, the longer she is going to cause havoc on them. They have to commit a dive onto the Ashe and get her off of the high ground before she can do her thing.
Olympus has that EMP back online. They've got a Pulse Bomb, they've got a Coal. They have a lot of ultimates to work with. I would be surprised if they didn't send some out now. There's the EMP, but a huge bob coming out from Barry might end up causing some damage in the back line. As I say that, there goes Lucio. And a huge fight cleanup. Not a whole lot of ultimates actually used on the side of Olympus, excuse me. A rally and a nano and the EMP of Drexel getting pulled out. So perhaps a dry fight called. Little close for comfort here. They do need to be on the payload.
Only ultimates for Drexel come up here are tank ultimates, but meanwhile, Olympus has both support ults and primal.
There's the beat, there's the Coal. That bomb not going to catch anything, but very uncontested on that top platform. Going to essentially spend a day at the shooting range until the monkey primals him off. Garfield eating the Pulse Bomb, really well done. Zaya managing to cause some havoc on the cart. Hopefully he doesn't get picked off for this positioning here. Well done, jumping out. Still a very losable fight.
Tanks on the side of Drexel are very low without Jeff Goldblum being alive, so they have to play this safe and if they want to win this fight.
They're going to be picked off as you say that. They need to wait and hopefully get a
Barry has
retest in
managed
here.
to
Zumi
get
getting
another
picked.
Bob.
Yeah, Barry really putting in a lot of work on that Ashe, doing a ton of damage. And a huge EMP coming outside from the side of Nasty. Absolutely huge, but a response. Boreas with the EMP to respond. But it's not going to matter too much. Still a losable fight, but this cleanup is certainly going to be difficult for Olympus here. Oh, and
Here
a
comes the
rally and rig on
game-changing
point.
rally. Plus the nano
Raid
boost.
boss rally nano. But a huge beat coming in to save them. Garfield with a bomb, hopefully clearing the point. The bubble protects Monkey, but not Hermes, who wasn't protecting himself. Garfield getting 2 picks real quick. A huge response. This fight could go either way. It's one of the longest fights on Third Point Gibraltar I think I've ever seen.
It's Trade City is happening right before our eyes.
Absolutely. Coalescence coming out from the Moira. Going to get that Baby Diva. A little bit of stall coming from Nasty. A huge EMP coming out just to
Wow,
kill Nasty
another
there.
EMP from Boreas.
And they are going to cap third. That is an incredible fight.
Wow.
Well done from Olympus to manage to claw back from Jaw's defeat.
Switching sides.
I think in that situation there, it comes down to target calling. I did notice when the EMP was up, everybody was focused on the side of Drexel on different targets, which led to Olympus being able to recontest.
For sure. Very difficult situation that you put yourself in when you don't have that team leader. We've got an EMP coming online from Nasty here. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. There were so many lovely EMPs.
I have to say, I was impressed by both Sombra players.
Absolutely. Both Sombra players did very well. The DPS, honestly, on both sides. Here comes the EMP on that initiate onto the top point, interrupting it. Very well played. Game-changing EMP, to be honest. Well done.
Alright, let's see. Classic dive on Gibraltar, but Bear is going to be running the Echo.
I'm not sure how much Echo I have seen Barry play, but I am willing to believe in it. Likely going to see that 6-man dive out of Olympus again. They do seem to be proficient on Rush, and 6-man dive is sort of a better version of Rush right now, so I'm not very surprised, to be honest. They play it pretty well. Unfortunately, it struggles on maps like Watchpoint Gibraltar, where that doesn't work so well. They did manage to cap third, but with 0 time left, we'll see if Drexel can manage to punch one in for the Dragons.
How are you bypassing device firewalls?
I'm interested to see Nasty running the Hanzo over the Sombra that was working so well for him on the first defense.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why they're not running it. They seem to be playing very well on it.
1.
Perhaps they're opting for that long-range sniper play that we were talking about earlier, but you really want to see a hit scan, to be honest, on those interactions. Hit scan, I will say, though, as a hit scan DPS player, can be difficult to play and position yourself on this map in particular. That 6-man dive going to be coming in on the bridge. Not going to really manage to take it. They just need to sort of farm their nano here, but Marino managed to get picked off very quickly in trade for Barry. Perhaps waited for the side of Drexel here. Nasty needs up to help from his teammates before getting picked off by Tracer. So they're going to jump in, a little soft dive, not going to be overcommittal, especially not against that 6-man dive. You need to be very safe. That anti-nade going to protect Jeff with a huge sleep. Ana with some huge plays and Tifa slipping right off the map. But oh, Koi to save herself just in time. A huge pick coming on to Nasty will open this fight up for Olympus here.
This is what I was talking about before on the overtime contest, the shot calling. It seems they're all over the place, deciding on who to dive or who to go after.
Yeah, the win con of Drexel's composition here really is just to farm nano. Once they have that, they have the advantage over a 6-man rush, especially on Gibraltar. 6-man rush really doesn't perform super well when you can pick people apart and you got that brig on your side. So unfortunately, Barry getting caught out on a little bit of an excursion. That's okay. That happens.
I just noticed that Olympus is not running Ana.
They're not. Yeah, they're running that
They're running Lucio.
six-man dive.
So, if Jeff can get a nano onto Zaya here, he could cause some damage to the backline. Both supports do not have ultimates up.
Nano on the side of Jeff Goldblum, a primal on the way. He's got an EMP, so I'm expecting a fast engage here from the six-man, and there it is. There's the massive EMP, but the Nano coming out perhaps might make this terrible fight. There goes Lucio, but Zumi getting traded just as fast. This fight still could go either way, but it's looking more and more sided for Olympus as we say that.
Drexel pushing the cart.
Little back cap coming in here, but not going to work out, unfortunately. Nasty going to need to leave.
In that instance right there just shows how powerful EMP is.
Absolutely.
Completely negated the nano boost with Winston.
A little far forward here, Winston. They're positioning a little far forward in my mind. That cart progress really helps. Nasty, again, trying to go for the back cap. I have to wonder if perhaps Blue Collar playing with his team a little bit more would be a little more helpful in this scenario. Rally coming out from Zumi, not fast enough. Not going to save Jeff Goldblum. Garfield splitting himself off. Not quite going to get picked off. Very close to death.
Now the Drexel squad is all split apart.
Very split fight here. Not really looking like it's going to end up with anything too fruitful from them. And as I say that, there goes Zaya, and they're going to need to back off again. A lot of ultimates online for both teams, however. We could see a very sloppy fight incoming. I'm looking for perhaps a little Diva Bomb initiation. Perry, unfortunately, dying on another excursion. He's going to need to cut that out if he wants to give his team a fair shot at taking this first point here.
Gotcha.
We have a lot of ultimates coming up, like you said before. Looking for a nasty fight happening in a couple seconds here for this contest.
Hack on to Zay is going to force a little bit more passive play, and Zumi going to get knocked off the edge from that primal. EMP coming out from the side of Olympus, probably going to end up taking this fight, unfortunate for Drexel. Diva Bomb from Garfield not going to happen, but the Nano coming out onto Barry might end up clinching things if he can get some value with it. As I say that, there you go, a pick on Sombra. Very winnable fight from Drexel, just need to keep that Diva alive. False Bomb coming out, not going to catch anything.
Jane's going to switch to the emergency Wrecking Ball to get some contest here.
EMP came out on the side of Drexel. Unfortunately, did not catch the Lucio, who had beat. This fight is going to be very difficult for Drexel to drag back.
You know, Drexel no ultimates. We have Olympus coming up on at least 3. This is looking skeletal.
And there you go. Olympus with a wonderful first point hold on Gibraltar, running that 6-man comp again. Not traditional really for Gibraltar, but
yeah, deciding to not opt for a long range, and I agree, played very well.
As we await our final map pick, any notes that you have, Sponty, for either team?
I just have to say that Olympus's shot calling and overall team play is far superior than Drexel Thunder's. They are coordinating EMP dives, they are cycling ultimates, they're shot calling targets to go after. And even when Nasty was tickling the cart for a back cap, they only sent one person back instead of all panicking and leaving their positions. Very well played.
Absolutely,
I think if Drexel wants to have a chance, they need to mirror the same mentality.
Olympus really doing well with the team play here. You can have all the mechanical skill in the world. I do know a lot of the players on the side of Drexel have that mechanical skill. They've got that individual play that they've got locked, the fundamentals. But at the end of the day, when you're scrimming, when you're playing against these teams, you got to have the coordination, you got to have the leadership, and you have to have the knowledge of how to play these things in order to really seal the deal and take the points. And fortunately, Drexel just, as you can see, through Watchpoint Gibraltar and points before that, a lot of split fighting on the side of Drexel. No target calling, no game plan, just a lot of attempts at individual carry that aren't going to work out.
All
Be
right,
coming
looks
back
like
here.
our final map is one of my favorites to play on, Nepal.
Absolutely, I agree. I am a huge fan of Nepal. I think Ilios might be my second favorite, but honestly, I'm a fan of most of the Koth maps.
Oh, and we
also a lot of lot of variance with the team compositions that you can see on this map, which I'm a fan of.
I am a fan of the Pharah, and hopefully it does stick.
Absolutely, the Pharah can be a huge factor if they end up playing it, because Olympus's Brawl really strong, and Olympus helps to dismantle that, or rather, Pharah helps to dismantle the Brawl. I want to take a look at the really well-made dive from Olympus, I believe, on this developer game. Watch that initiation here and see the Cole coming out really well done. Same play that EMP that came out and managed to stifle it a little, but the Moira just too strong.
I'm surprised
Really good
Drexel's
stuff.
gonna go with the Brigida here for this comp if they're gonna run the Wrecking Ball Diva. With Pharah, hopefully, and not Bearer on Doomfist.
I would be surprised, but stranger things have happened, so we will see. Olympus almost certainly going to opt for that standard sim brawl that you're going to see on a lot of these cough maps.
They're very
Olympus
confident,
really well
confident
done
with their brawl.
3.
Absolutely, it looks like that's what we're going to see, but we are going to see the Pharah.
Capture the objective.
That Pharah going to be coming out.
Aligning defense system.
Point taken from Brawl. Oh, Drexel needs to not put too heavy on this point, just needs to do that poke damage from the side and let their Pharah manage to do that damage and carry this fight.
Zaya needs to look for a nice slam and some follow-up just like that.
Just like that.
Jorge goes down to a
going down.
orb to the face.
That's
The
just a little
Pharaoh.
position there. Marina going down, really well done.
This is a very powerful composition. The displacement from the Wrecking Ball, the rockets coming from the sky from Nasty, and the Discord orbs from Zumi. It's a great combo.
Absolutely.
But
As I
look,
say that, but Kronos managing
Olympus
to
is
take
turning.
things back. The pharmacy going to go down, but Kronos out of mech now. Barry's still able to win this fight. Oh, but he gets popsicled right to the dome. This might be a one fight for the side of Olympus here.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I guess losing the Pharah Mercy resulted in losing the point from what looked like to be a winnable fight.
Oh, the huge barrage coming out
Oh.
from Nasty. Going to manage to get 3 before he gets taken down. He just made this a winnable fight. Zaya with a huge mines coming at a point, trying to secure this. No immortality on the side, and Hessia opting to jump directly into those mines. Kronos, one of the final lines of defense of this point. As I say that, Lucio speeding into point. Kronos had a mech.
Thinks this is winnable. They're committing ultimates and abilities to get back onto the point. Maybe just looking for some more percent, but
There's another
as I
freeze,
say, there's
another
a
ult, but
freeze.
huge pick from Barry, however. Going to get frozen. Nope. Transcendence not going to save you from a popsicle to that forehead. As long as the Pharah stays alive. Unfortunately, as I say that, going to go down. This is now a winnable recontest on the side of Olympus. Jeff Goldblum opting for that res, hopefully going to allow Nasty to make this a very winnable fight for Drexel.
Oh,
A
wow, that
huge
was an
bomb.
amazing concussive blast from Nasty. Hestia was
Very
going to
well
throw
done.
the immortality down at his feet to save himself from the bomb, but he got booped.
Very well done on the side of Drexel, but this is a massive stall for the side
This
of Olympus.
is. They're almost at 99% already from the first capture.
Window coming out for man. As I say that, this might not even be a one fight for Drexel yet. Jeff Goldman going to go down, but perhaps he's going to get traded. I would, if I were Olympus, I would simply regroup and
They got their
attempt
90%.
Yeah, maybe a dry fight here from Olympus if I were them. As I said, Nasty's
Wow.
going to go down. That is very unfortunate for them. Boreas needs to get out of there, but he doesn't have a trance, I guess. There he goes. Zaya managed to get the pick.
And he
This
went
fight could
down
really go
with
either
the-
way.
The mines are on the point to create a field of protection, but they do give up the point, trying to help heal for that backline with the monkey,
Drexel going to need a
leaving
massive
Zaya on the
recontest
point
if
by
they're going to take
himself
this
with
point.
only 300 HP.
Huge
But
trance
hopefully,
coming out
if he
from
does get
Zumi.
into the Transcendence.
Beat coming out from the side of Olympus, a nice EMP. Like I said, they're just
Just amazing
stacking these
EMP.
ultimates. Really
Stopping. Oh. That EMP delayed that rocket barrage for a couple seconds just for it to all be eaten by D.Va's defense matrix. And they cannot get a recontest. That was
one stall. One stall ended up with about 90% on that first point.
0 to 1.
And yeah, I keep saying it over and over again, but that stall, I think, was a result of shot calling issues, not going after specific targets and people spreading apart too far.
We're going to see a fire barrage coming in from Nasty on the point of Drexel here. Very well done barrage. Got a lot of value here. 3 before he manages to go down. That really helps seal the deal on finally taking the point back. That's exactly what they needed to help pull through.
It's very good in that play. I think I saw Zaya boop or slam the squishies, which displaced them a little bit and was able to give Nasty the ability to kill them.
1.
Drexel is still going to opt for the Wrecking Ball here on a... this is a Wrecking Ball friendly map, but it's also double shield friendly, which we haven't seen any double shield at all this whole session.
Gotta say, I'm pretty happy about that. Olympus opting for the 6-man dive instead. Hanzo from Nasty hopefully going to be picking up position, but unfortunately it seems like he's just going to get dove. Managed to live through that massive 6-man dive, however. The 6-man, I have to say, I think I'd give the advantage to it, rather, but Brig managed to take down Marino.
Jeff Goldblum got dove on, and he manages to survive and kill 2 people in the process.
The power of Brigitte really does prevail.
I did notice, though, the 6-man dive did go for a dive, but what are you going to dive in this Wrecking Ball comp besides the supports? I mean, everybody's going to be off on their own excursion. Barry's going to be peppering from the side, Nasty's going to be shooting logs from a different side, as well as Zaya rolling through with Wrecking Ball. I'm surprised they didn't kill Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, so you saw the initial dive on their Hanzo, who could have been considered out of position. That could have been an absolutely massive dive for them, but they didn't manage to secure the kill. A rally now coming out from the side of Jeff Goldblum, going to definitely put Olympus off of pushing in through that. You definitely don't want to be pushing through Briggs' rally armor. So
they recognize that.
Seconds.
Yep.
Zaya with a huge slam, maybe a little too rambunctious here, but he does manage to catch the Moira out.
It's worthwhile, catches Moira, yep.
Well done.
And Olympus decides to regroup instead of committing, which I think is a smart choice.
Very smart choice on their part. You don't want to lose your Moira. You've got an EMP and a Coalescence. Perhaps we're going to see an EMP Blossom combo with a fight started by Coalescence here. As I say that, a huge EMP on both supports. Assuming when you take out immediately. Unfortunately, that Zen will drop as soon as the EMP flies.
Garfield with the amazing bomb to turn the fight. Wow.
That bomb coming out, and Barry's Vires are sealing the deal, making sure that they don't even have a hope of recontesting that point. Well done. And a little bit of a stagger there from Hestia, making this last fight territory for Olympus.
This has to be one of Drexel's best points of the night.
Agreed, they're playing this very well.
I do have to say I'm a fan of the Soldier 76 on this point.
I am also a fan of the Soldier 76. You know me. Oh, Zaya trying to go in, but going to get picked off immediately because of the Sombra. 98% here, and they're going to have to try and win this fight without their main tank. The spin coming out from the side of Reaper, not going to get anything. Jorge going down from Barry. Barry going to get dove, but not a whole lot coming out of it. Monkey does struggle a little bit diving those soldier players.
Lumi did commit Transcendence, and it looks like they're backing up, however.
I would say, yeah, allowing the cap here. Maybe a dry fight from them. If they're tracking ults properly, they may not need it. Only a primal on the side of Olympus here, but nothing for the Dragons. We'll see if Drexel can manage to scrape together a victory here on the first fight of their Koth attack.
I have to say, Barry could reign free with this attack visor he's coming up on, and they have no Lucio beat. But
Gonna go down early. Zaya played that very well, actually, making waiting for the 6-man to dive his backline and then slamming on his own backline to try and displace them. Not going to be good enough, but in my opinion, well done. Good job, Zaya.
Gotcha.
now
The
Drexel has some
six-man dive
ultimates
just a little
online.
stronger.
Pobrecito.
Barry staggering a little bit. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'm out of here.
Drexel is going to have some ultimates online here. Mines, Visor, Dragon, and a Rally. Probably Diva Bomb mid-fight. But all of that could be negated completely by an EMP, which does come out early.
He's out a 5-man EMP going to catch both supports immediately. I would just reset now. Try to kill yourself. There you go. Well done, Barry. Good job for Olympus. That EMP was absolutely massive, but it does leave them with no ultimate abilities, while Drexel holding on to that 5. So we're going to see how well they manage to use those. Perhaps initiating with the rally, trying to make something happen, and then popping those DPS ults to sort of get things going. There you go. There's the rally to start things off. Maybe a dragon. Huge mines. Dragon coming out as well, trying to cut people off of that rotate. Moira going to go down. Zaya slamming and Reaper dying at the same time. Well done. It's 4v6 for the side of Olympus. Barry going to catch Marino out. Garfield getting booped off the point.
Hermes said, I'm not going out without a pick. Gotta get a boop.
Sombra on the side of Olympus going to try and recontest for a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Drexel making this a 1-1 Nepal game.
That was a very well-played point from both teams. I mean, it was 92% to 0, and Olympus brought it back to 99%. And in the end, it came down to ultimates. Drexel did commit dry, and they did throw themselves off the map with the lost fight, and were able to bring it back with their ultimates.
The discipline and positioning that we're seeing out of Olympus is very strong. They've got a very powerful rush, 6-man being a very similar composition to Rush and how it's played. Obviously, we're going to see a lot of discipline out of that as well.
Speaking of Rush, this is a another point that is pretty friendly to the Rush comp.
Got another clip here from last point for the Dragons. And here we see the Hanzo going to be doing a little bit of displacing with his Dragon here to sort of start this fight off. Well-placed Dragon helps to move, while Soldier managing to clean up with his Visor as well as that Diva Bomb, going to clinch that fight for the Dragons.
Back to third point here, the Dragons are running the Wrecking Ball comp with the Pharah, and like I said before, Olympus running a Rush. Rush is famous for sitting inside this point and then calling out a target to go after with amp speed.
This is what I recommend all day long that Drexel do. Just let that Pharah pop off. Not a whole lot that Rush can do against, especially when they're running the Symmetra. Really not a whole lot they can do. They just need to make sure they don't feed. Absolutely.
Here we see the TP again onto Zumi, like we saw on Lijiang. And Zumi has no peel, there's no Brigitte, there's nothing to help her.
Absolutely nothing to help save her. Nasty going to get picked off. That Pharah not putting in as much work as you'd like. The res coming in. Perhaps an ill-advised one, because there goes Zumi immediately. A little bit of stagger there, and hopefully we see Garfield manage to get out before he gets staggered as well.
I have to say, I don't know who is shot calling for Olympus, but Jorge's teleporters onto the backline have proved worthwhile almost every single time it's happened.
If I'd have to guess, I'd say either Kronos or Jorge are making these calls. I mean, both of them playing incredibly well during this scrim, and honestly, you might have to steal that TP strat.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like it a lot. I'm going to see Drexel try and retake this point. Got to make sure not to feed. As I say that, Zaya with a little
Opted not to put
peculiar
the mines
mind.
on the point. We do have Rocket Barrage here, though.
We've got a lot of abilities here. A little bit of a Valve coming in here. Pretty hard overcommit, in my opinion, from the tanks here. Just let your Pharah do work. Trance coming in here. Gonna need to try and do something.
Didn't save Zaya quite a time.
Ooh, and a very mistimed barrage is going to get completely eaten and shut down. This might just be a 100-0 game for Olympus here, as
Drexel just
has to gear up to touch.
Drexel just used every ultimate except for one in their bank to commit to a fight that was not looking very promising. Are they even gonna have a
with this
recontest
comp,
here?
you really have to allow your DPS to pop off. You can't overcommit, and I'm seeing a lot of that on the side of Drexel. Gotta slow it down. Simwall coming out from the side of Drexel. Just need a long stall here. Need a long fight. Drexel going to be giving up their Diva Max Zaya, going down.
Simwall is up
now. Simwall up. There it goes. There goes Barry on the Echo, and it's looking like a sad day in Drexel. Well done. Very well coordinated from Olympus.
That rush is so impressive. I am very impressed by, like I said before, the teleporter. The ult cycling in their rush comms is definitely better than in their 6-man dive comms. You see the Symmetra saving that wall. You see Mei walling off one of the sides of the points. Diva's doing an amazing job keeping Nasty under control.
Yeah,
It's
their
looking
rush
great.
is incredibly well disciplined. They clearly have practiced it a lot. This is a team that's worked together for a long time, if I had to guess, to have worked out all these coordinated strats.
Looks like we're going to be doing some more maps. 2CP perhaps?
Nice far clip out of Jorge coming online here in a second. Symmetra, my bad. A huge wall, I think. Huge wall coming after that point. Very well done, murdering that far. Really, Diva really being the star of the show there, making sure that absolutely nothing gets through. Well done, again. Just a very disciplined team. Overall, just the team play is staggeringly high. I don't know what level of Scrim we're playing at. I believe it's supposed to be around 3 to 3.1, but honestly, Olympus showing signs of slightly better team play than that, in my opinion.
I had to say something earlier, but it looks like we're going to get some double shield gameplay. With the classic Junkrat on Anubis.
No. Oh, we've got some double shield Hanzo Tor. We've got Temple of Anubis. Oh, you really had to say it all, didn't you?
I had to. I'm curious to see how this is going to go because Olympus is going to run their comfort comp rush. They're probably, I would assume, going to try to go to this right side on the defense here, the left for the attacking. We'll see how that works out in their favor though with the Junkrat on the side of Drexel.
They may be opting for the Symmetra.
Oh yes,
in
they're
which
just
case some incredible teleportation strategies that we've been seeing thus far might come into play here. So perhaps teleporting directly onto that platform and getting things done. Hopefully Drexel has the foresight to realize that and rotate faster than they can, but that's a pretty hard ask, to be honest with you.
Or Drexel by now, and I saw Symmetra being played by Jorge, I would expect a nice teleporter at this point. Either coming in through under the choke so they could get on point and force a fight on there, or they're going to teleport to the right side and try to contest the high ground possibly. We'll see.
I guess we'll find out. Making the move, a Hall coming in, not going to get a whole lot, but they are opting to take that left foot. Jorge going to get picked off immediately by Nasty. That is the nature of Junkrat.
That was the character that needed to stay up because it looked like they were going to go for a teleport through onto the choke to force a fight onto there, but Nasty did get Jorge picked off really early on with some RNG shots. Really
placed RNG shots that are going to sort of extend this team fight, which is exactly what you want on double shield, especially when you're going up against Rush. It really makes it difficult for the team to make things happen. Symmetric going to be back. A lot of spam from Nasty getting eaten here from the Diva. That's exactly what you want. And now they're going to need to make a play on the point.
Here comes the tire from Nasty, see if he gets any value.
Not going to get anything. He's going to get picked off immediately.
He opted to not kill the solo Diva who dived him. And then Drexel just didn't rotate on their double shield. They dropped off the high ground and stood there.
Yeah, again, super well executed by Rush. You have to be very disciplined, especially on the double shield. You have to be disciplined enough to rotate away, and that Symmetra makes it even harder to do so. So you have to be incredibly disciplined as a team in order to counter that, and we're not really seeing that out of Drexel. Gotta know when to rotate away, have to know where to stand. It really is a pain. You gotta make sure you're sticking together and focusing targets, especially against Reinhardt. You can really negate him if you do that, but second point should make things a little bit easier, I hope. For
They're
the side of
sticking with the
Drexel.
Junkrat here, and Olympus is going to be coming up on a couple ultimates, including the Symmetra wall.
There goes that Sim TP once again. Nasty going to be, or rather, Barry, shooting out that Molten Core, going to be catching the Reinhardt, and there you go with that Junkrat again, putting in work.
That was very well placed. And I did notice earlier, Garfield actually threw the rock at the ulting Reinhardt and completely stopped his shatter.
Yeah, really well done. Not a whole lot of ultimates left. Rather, 3 ultimates left on the side of Olympus. Not a whole lot of ultimates left on the side of the Dragons quite yet. Wait a little bit for those to come online. Opting for a farther position are the Dragons. I like this a lot. There's a reason there's so much space in between the spawn doors and whatnot. You might as well use that space, especially on double shield. Another tire, not going to work out. Chronos not letting Nasty really play the game.
Yeah, that tire has been getting no value, but Garfield did eat the freeze early on, so I thought maybe the fight would be turnable with negating their ultimate, but it looks like they're crumbling.
Absolutely, a huge beat coming out to save them from that Sigma Flux, and this fight's going to be very difficult to recontest for the side of the Drexel Dragons. And there it is, 3 minutes and 48 seconds remaining. Olympus caps the second point.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize this enough. That rush composition on the side of Olympus was very well executed. They were winning fights without the uses of ultimates. Meanwhile, Drexel's popping ultimates left and right and still losing.
Yeah, at this point it's very evident they are a very coordinated team. They're very disciplined in how they play their rush. I will say, if I were Drexel, I'd really want to be opting for a Pharah. Like, really opt for a Pharah.
Yeah, they don't run Cassidy as often with these rush comps. They're running Symmetra and Mei, or they're throwing a Sombra in there. Pharah would
even with
crazy.
the Cass against Rush, you really can pop off. Cass is, with a mercy pocketed Pharah, almost inconsequential.
Yeah,
Really do a lot of work, but it looks like they're going to opt for a double bubble composition here to try and take down, and Olympus opting for a 6-man. Well, as I say that, we've got a little pause, perhaps a little disconnect.
interesting that let's see, Olympus is not gonna run for their comfort comp. They're gonna instead do the 6-man dive with the Sombra. This could lead to Garfield being left by himself on the low ground while the rest of his team is up on the platform with the double bubble. So we'll see how this turns out.
I'll say I think I like the 6-man a little more than I like the double bubble for the offense here. But again, it all comes down to how we play these things. Coming up on the replay, we're going to have a clip of the teleportation strat that Olympus has been using. Again, I can't stress enough how coordinated you have to be in order to make a Symmetra work so incredibly well as it's been. Really well done on the side of Olympus here.
And that clip in particular didn't quite work out in the very, very end, but is well executed. It just got stopped by Drexel ultimates.
Yeah, I was going to say just a few ultimates to counter it, but in reality, you've got to counter it with smart positioning and perhaps a slightly smarter pool of heroes.
Yeah, I mean, countering a strategy with ultimates versus countering a strategy with abilities, which would you rather pick? The abilities, obviously, you can save your ultimates for big team fights.
So again, we're going to see double bubble strategy. Again, we've got a sort of win con where we need to build up a nano, and that's going to be kind of difficult if we see Olympus playing the 6-man how they've been with that sort of swarm that they throw at Drexel.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers.
Starting here, we got a nice scout on the side of Olympus here, getting some knowledge, maybe going to get some ult charge, who knows. Quick hack on Viana, probably not going to get too much, just a little bit of annoyance from the side of Olympus.
Are they gonna rotate left side with the double bubble?
They're going to rotate left with the double bubble, and the 6-man probably going to pick that apart really well. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if they knew they were on that 6-man comp. All of them were sort of sitting on that top left platform, and it's going to be a quick fight for Olympus here.
I'm not sure if rotating your whole team to the left side is the way to go. I mean, you saw there that Jeff Goldblum and Zumi were both left behind, and then Marino and Kronos just dove them and absolutely took them out of the fight.
Absolutely. Again, the win con is to sort of build the nano and rotate your supports and your Zarya into that sort of left room and be able to see your players from the point. But against this 6-man, you really do not want to be filtering into what is perhaps the strongest little hole in the game for them to go through. Zaya jumping in, sort of out of sight. Maybe a little overzealous here. Drexel
He's
not
so
really
close to his primal. He was
And there he goes.
1% off, and he got popped.
Very unfortunate. I do like the Echo here. Any of the birds really counter 6-man pretty well, so hopefully Nasty can get work done here. But the 6-man of Olympus going to continue to try and clean up this fight. Will it be the best idea? I don't know. Kronos managing to get picked off immediately, and Jorge going down as well. Very winnable fight now for Drexel. And there's the nano.
Wow, Barry's popping off right now. He killed 3 in this fight.
Absolutely,
He's looking
Barry
for more.
doing very well. The nano coming out, not going to do much, but I mean, you can't really expect Barry to just demolish like that.
Marino
That
did
was
commit his
incredible.
primal, maybe to look for a pick on the Nasty, who was low at the time, but now he is. Now they have no contestability, but they have EMP, which comes in right now.
Recontest coming in, a huge beat coming out the side. A grab only going to be catching a few, not going to be doing a whole lot here from Garfield. This is a very winnable fight for Olympus. Nasty going to throw that primal out there, the Echo, but it's not going to do a whole lot really. This fight looking a little chalked for the side of Drexel. Just need to get out.
EMP executions are great. They wanted that point so badly, they committed B and EMP into that to keep them, and Coalescence to keep themselves alive.
I mean, hey, it worked. It
Yeah.
worked well.
It worked
Again, their
very
6-man and their ult usage, very good. They know exactly how to use these ults to recontest these points, and they know exactly what their win con is. And I think that's very important, especially in a composition like this.
Zaya getting overzealous, but he has primal, a little bit of a safety precaution.
Nasty, unfortunately, going to be picked off by that D bomb, but Zaya might be able to do some turning. A huge EMP.
Another
going on the
EMP by
side of
Boreas.
Olympus.
My ultimate
That's
is
an
charged.
EMP for both the last 2 fights, catching almost the entire team.
Yeah, I mean, Boreas and Jorge really, as a combo, are it's looking very difficult to surmount that DPS line. They're playing incredibly well.
Mucho mejor.
Hey,
Gotcha.
That EMP there just completely, maybe not completely, but it did negate a little bit that the rally that Zumi provided to Drexel.
Absolutely. 6-man going to be taking advantage of the fact that half the team leaves when you go for the dive, but Barry getting a quick pick on Hestia. Not going to be able to get that Cole. Jeff Goldblum sent that nano out before he died, so it's certainly winnable.
Supports are down on the side of Olympus,
Most of Drexel
and
opting to play
Drexel's
the
capping a
point.
point, and they do cap it.
Well done by Drexel realizing that they could just walk the point and win right now. Say, unfortunately, getting picked off here. Oh, Nasty realizing Sombra is still behind and managing to get her out of there. Little pest control, if you will.
We're gonna see a Graviton, so wow, and Hermes gets picked up early. And as I was saying, we have a Graviton Surge, so let's see them dive in on this rather quick instead of letting Hermes respawn.
Nasty throwing out that copy. Do see the Cole coming in, and a huge eat from Kronos.
Kronos saw that
Immediately.
coming a mile away. It was prepared for that grab eat.
Very well done. Huge turn fight. That could have been very bad for Olympus with the momentum that Drexel had just built from that last team fight. Kronos, really a playmaker on this squad.
There is a couple ultimates in the set of Drexel being used, if I'm not mistaken. Nasty pop is Echo. Oh, is that the fight prior?
Oh yeah, he just popped it. He copied the Winston, but it couldn't really get much done. Huge EMP coming on the side of Boreas with the Blossom combo.
My
Blossom's not
goodness.
going to catch any, but clean up regardless because EMP is just a very strong ultimate.
Yeah, really early on, Boreas just decided to press that Q button, and his whole team came and followed up on that.
Both
Gonna-
tank ults online for Olympus here. Rally and a Pulse Bomb for Drexel. I guess I would opt to build Nano while walking in with the Rally and then using the Nano mid-fight to keep my monkey up. If I were the Drexel Dragons trying to take this point here.
We're looking for doing a little more spot checking this time around, so they don't get caught out by surprise Sombras like that anymore.
Going to be jumping in. The Diva Bomb going to come out from Kronos. Not going to catch anything. There's the Rally coming out. Barry already gone, and Garfield, D-Mech, Zaya gone. Unfortunately, not going to look like the Rally is going to change too much.
Yeah, I mean, Zaya was already in, and Zumi is basically only rallying Jeff and maybe Garfield. And it just resulted in them falling down.
Hi. 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I've been
Coalescence on the side of Olympus here, but the EMP right around the corner.
Yep.
As Drexel's going to have to make this final push.
It's gotta be the 5th or 6th EMP this game for Boreas. Coming up.
Absolutely, he's gotten a ton of them, and you really can get them quickly if you know how to farm the Nano coming in on their side, but the EMP is only going to catch the Nano to Ana there. Unfortunately,
Barry has it
a lot
out
of
for
picks
Hestia
going
this game. But the supports were back by themselves getting hacked by the EMP, but Barry right now is getting some picks to maybe get some recontest back in. Is it just him? It's just him alive. And
Unfortunately, it's just Barry
he
and Garfield's
falls.
Baby Diva. Zumi flying back to try and recontest the point, but this 2CP, this unfortunately is not a winnable fight. Jeff Goldblum's going to try and touch, but it's not going to mean much. Jorge cleaning things up, going to make a decisive Anubis victory for Olympus.
What do you think, Rick, could have been opted in better for Drexel? Maybe a Sombra of their own?
Play of the game.
A Sombra could work, but honestly, a Pharah and Echo really do well. The Echo unfortunately didn't get too much value there, but honestly, it comes down to a lot of individual positioning. It comes down to a lot of lack of discipline and a lot of lack of target focus. Against these rush comps and against these 6-mans, you really have to be disciplined in that. In the very nice Echo card there. You really have to be disciplined in order to play against those sort of comps, against good teams. And certainly they were
Certainly good team. I'm gonna have to agree. Maybe seeing Farah there could have changed the gameplay a little bit. But Boreas' Sombra was just wild, as we're gonna see in this clip here. Multiple EMPs coming up the entire game and turning fights that seem to be losable for the side of Olympus.
That is one of many game-changing EMPs on the side of Boreas. Really well executed on his behalf.
And I have to give props to Boreas' team for every time there was total follow-up on these EMPs.
My ultimate is charged.
And it just completely swept Drexel off their feet.
As we await our interviewee, I would say if I had to give them notes, they really need that team leader, that shot caller. Really could use a little bit of help, helping to coordinate and shot call, etc., etc. Really, all the things you want to see in a team.
There were times where it seemed It did seem that their communication was better at certain parts, like specifically on that one wrecking ball point on Nepal. But other times it seemed to be all over the place, and they couldn't figure out who to get onto. We're going to be waiting for a player to interview here in just a second. What do you think of
Short
the
moment.
scrim overall, Rick?
I thought the scrim was really, really educational. Really put Drexel on their toes, and I think they're gonna hopefully realize that they need somebody to make those calls, and hopefully they can find some leadership in their team one to help work those things out.
Yeah, and I've been writing my own notes down following Olympus. I mean, that teleporter from Jorge and whoever's shot calling is very well done. They escaped Wrecking Ball engages with the teleport. They engaged on Zumi Zenyatta, and they managed to get back to the point with amp speed. It was very well executed, and we're gonna have to try that in our own games.
I agree. I definitely want to steal that teleporter nonsense.
Whenever I play with a Symmetra or as Symmetra, I just think of the TP as a get to my location quicker tool, not a dive-ish like engage type tool. It's very interesting to see it used that way.
We are joined here today by Zumi. How are you today?
Hi. I didn't. Hello.
So we got some questions for you, or rather I do. So my first question, that Nepal first point stall, what were you
Yeah,
guys trying to break down there when they were sort of trickling onto point?
I actually I don't really know. We were all kind of getting a little frustrated about it, I think. We just weren't really calling the right targets, I think, or we would let people get really low and it just didn't really pull out that well. So we'll definitely be VoD reviewing that.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see the frustration coming through. You
Yeah.
mentioned struggling with the target calling. It seemed to be a common theme watching from the God Cam, for myself at least.
Mhm.
You guys often struggle with the initial team play breaking down sort of in the middle of the fight.
I think we do have our good days and our bad days. This is our first time scrimming, I think, in about 2.5 weeks after final exams. So we were pretty rusty on it. Um, but yeah, today was particularly rough.
And if I had to ask you one more question for myself, what do you think your game plan is to learn from this scrim in particular?
I think we could definitely work on our shot calling again. Definitely peel for the backline. Especially on the 2CP maps. We don't play 2CP anymore. So when they suggested it, that was a bit interesting. So yeah.
All right, we have some highlights to look at.
Oh god.
Unless Sponty, you've got some more questions. I see. Okay. We are going to just go straight into the highlights. Let's see what we've got here. Got that nice window here. I believe this is a Junkrat tire. Yeah, this King's Row was... I think you guys played pretty well, to be honest, on the King's Row trying to match. They were a very disciplined team, especially with their rush. They knew how to play that very well.
They played a lot of zombie on this during the scrim. A zombie on maps that we weren't expecting them to play zombie on.
And that EMP from Nasty was really nice.
Yeah,
I
Nasty's
gotta give it to him.
Yeah, Nasty's performance on that map was really good. I think our control maps, not control. Yeah, control. Our control maps are pretty good as well, I think.
Right.
We did a pretty good job matching up, aside from that Nepal map.
I mean, that you see that massive far barrage that came in, that really helped to turn the fight and finally help clean up and end that huge stall that they had there. Nasty really played well, I have to say. He's doing a lot. Another huge dragon coming in here on the other Nepal map. You guys played incredibly well on this Nepal map. You really...
Yeah, on that Nepal map we did pretty good.
So it might be a little byproduct of the fact that this map is not great for rush or that 6-man dive that they preferred to run.
Mhm.
I think I'm out of questions for you, Zumi.
Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you all for watching. I thought that was a very educational experience for Drexel and a very incredible discipline showing from Olympus. Really, really performing well. The Symmetra strats, I don't think I've ever seen a team as coordinated with that thing as them. I mean, you rarely see it at the higher levels, so I'm glad that we got to see it.
Yeah, I'm glad too, and I thought this was a very good scrim. We went in not knowing what Olympus was like, and they proved their worth.
Sure. Anyways, thank you all for watching. This has been Big Rick and Sponty, and we will see you all next time.